Hey YouTube again. So here we see it all plugged into a very useful website and app called Chronometer. We can see all of the foods. I've plugged them in there in the amounts that I've already shown. In those 886 calories, I've got 93% of my fibre, 43% of my iron, 46% of my calcium, 89% of my vitamin A, 37% of my vitamin C, 244% of my vitamin B12, which is the one that vegans really need to watch out for, and 45% of my folate. And then as I come down here, you can just see that I'm already greened out and well over 100% for most of these. I particularly enjoy what the flax seeds do down here in the fat section, where you can see my, you can't really see I'm afraid, but my omega-3 is at 794% for the day, and my omega-6 is at only 112%, which is a really good ratio of omega-6 to 3. And down here in the protein section, this is why I add the spirulina. It gives me a little bit of all of these. It's an incredibly diverse food. Tastes like crap, but it's incredibly diverse. I've also got some protein here from my chia seeds and my flax seeds and my peanut butter. And up here under selenium, you can see that I've got 362% of my day's intake of selenium, which is particularly useful because before, when I was doing this, I was coming in really low for selenium. Although I should be mindful to keep the rest of my day fairly low fat, as I've already had 91% of my fat intake. Hey, me again, and here is the finished product. It stopped doing it now because I was doing some editing and stuff in between, but usually there's sort of bubbling on the top, which you can see, which is the spirulina. Spirulina is a blue-green algae which grows on ponds. Technically, bacteria don't count as animals, so they're vegan. It's a good probiotic and it contains tons of amino acids. So this could actually be a really good smoothie for people. I know there's maybe a few people in my audience that suffer with depression. You should try a higher than normal omega-3 intake if you suffer with depression, because omega-3 is associated with good brain functioning and mood regulation and that kind of thing. I actually had a GP prescribe me cod liver oil once, trying to see if that would help with my depression. So you should definitely up your omega-3 intake and watch your omega-6 intake, because omega-6 cancels out omega-3 if it's taken at the same time. Try and keep the omega-3 ratio high compared to the omega-6 ratio, although you do want to hit your targets for your omega-6, which this smoothie does very well. We've included some fresh bean sprouts here. Those are an excellent source of protein, and it gives a bit of life to the smoothie. We've got the spinach in there for a bit of iron, although spirulina's actually got, gram for gram, spirulina has, I think, 3,600 times the amount of iron that spinach does. But you wouldn't want to eat 100 grams of spirulina. You might get away with eating 100 grams of spinach if you're so inclined. I add my spinach to my smoothies, or cook it with a bit of butter for dinner. Spirulina is a good source of iron though, if you could sneak that into more stuff. Nutritional yeast is another fantastic product that I've been using recently. But yeast that was stopped from doing its yeastiness at its yeastiest point, so it still contains all of the enzymes and nutrients that the living yeast had. And you can also make fake cheese with cashew nuts, a bit of garlic, a bit of lemon juice, and that stuff. It'll never be cheese. It'll never be cheese. I love cheese too much to call that real cheese, but cashew cheese tastes pretty good. And nutritional yeast is kind of what makes it cheesy, so try it out. Put it on some vegan pizza. Almond milk, fortified with B12 and D and stuff, calcium. The 2 Brazil nuts are in there for the selenium. I didn't have any selenium in my diet before, even though I was eating what looked like a very healthy, balanced vegan diet. There was absolutely no selenium, or very, very little selenium in it, until I started eating 1 or 2 Brazil nuts every day. So hot tip, get some Brazil nuts into your diet if you're vegan. I add the peanut butter for a bit of extra protein, so that I can't taste the spinach and the spirulina so much, and because it makes the whole thing creamier and much more satisfying for longer. I can go, after I drink this whole thing, I can go 3 hours without wanting anything else to eat, or at least, and then I'll just have a little snack, and then I'll get to dinner. And I add a teaspoon of maple syrup. No, sugar's not good for you, but it makes life better. It tastes really good. I just love knowing that if I start my day every day with this smoothie, whatever I do for the rest of the day, I'm already well past loads of my nutritional targets, and past 50% for a lot of them already. And I just have to go easy on the calories and the fat for dinner, but I do anyway, because vegan diet is pretty much easy on the calories. Chronometer is a fantastic thing if you are attempting something like veganism, or if you're actually someone that's had problems with depression and you wonder if it might be due to a nutritional deficiency, plug it into a chronometer for a few weeks, because you'll be able to see selenium is associated with depression, deficiency in selenium, deficiency in zinc, deficiency in magnesium. Those are associated with depression. Omega-3 deficiency, having more omega-6 than omega-3 is also associated with depression. Vitamin C, higher vitamin C intake is associated with improved mood and energy. And B6, I think B6 deficiency is associated with depression, and you should be taking a D3 supplement in the winter if you live in Britain, whether or not you eat meat, especially if you live in Scotland. I think that the government reckons that pretty much everyone in Scotland should be taking a vitamin D supplement. I take it because I get seasonal affective disorder anyway, so I know that I don't what's the word, simulate vitamin, is that the word? Don't know. Simulate vitamin D3 very well from sunlight. Assimilate. So I take that supplement, but you probably should if you're vegan. Give it a try if you're depressed. Yeah, that's all I have to say really about it. I hope you enjoy it, and if you've got any comments, let me know.